So how come we're always late to the party on this news?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, there's news today, but we're not going to talk about it till next week. We're going to talk about the news that happened last week.
Well, there's several good reasons.
Are monkeys involved?
No, there's several. No. There's several good reasons. One reason is that it's just easier to have like a Sunday to Monday, or like Monday to Sunday kind of bracket that we're pulling that news from. The other reason is that you're not near as difficult as Pete can sometimes be, but you also can be a flaky recorder. And so if it there's times where we're recording this show on a Friday, and so if we were like on the ball, this is this week in the news of movies and blah blah blah, we would often be late to the punch anyways. So it's usually best just to acknowledge that that's what it's gonna be. And
in the era of the internet, if you're 1 hour behind, you're late.
Exactly.
So let's just be late.
So let's just be late. Let's know that we're late and live in that realm comfortably. Yeah. And the other reason ultimately is like most of the stuff that we're talking about, we could talk about 3 weeks after the fact, and it would still be news to like the average moviegoer. So sort of like the inspiration behind doing this show was kind of our friend of the show and mutual friend of us, Emily Mader, because Emily Mader would always send me, whether it was like a news article or a trailer for a movie or, whatever it would be. And she would send it to me and she would say like, oh my God, they're making such and such. And I would go, yeah, I knew about this 6 months ago. I saw the trailer 2 weeks ago, or, like whatever it is. And so it just dawned on me. I think I'd been living in this world where everybody else was as caught up on the movie news. Like if you asked me what's going on right now in the world of politics, I couldn't tell you. Foreign affairs, got no idea. Right? Like actual world news, I have no clue what's happening in the world. But movie news, I'm like super up to date. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's do something about that. And so it's okay if it's a little late, because for most people, it's still going to be 6 months ahead of, finding out that something's in production a week after it was announced is still going to be 6 months sooner than when the first trailer drops. And they're like, oh, holy shit. So... yeah, so you still think Ukraine is a bird that's related to the blue heron then? I have no idea what you're talking about. Not a clue. I know there's something about balloons flying over the U.S. right now, and that could spell like the end of the world for all of us, because it could be aliens. But this is the only reason I know about that, is because it could be aliens.
Yes.
But hello and welcome to the Movie Men Podcast.
The B Team.
That's Carl.
Yes, Brady.
I got to keep it fresh.
You changed it.
I changed it.
You changed it this time.
Somewhat accidentally. I didn't. Yeah. As Carl sort of alluded to, this is a movie news show. We're here to talk about the news, all of the things that are relatively current in the world of movie news.
Yeah, and newsworthy to us.
Yes, not. Yeah, there's, we could honestly, if we wanted to cover, we could do this show. We could do 9 topics of this show 5 days a week and still not cover every topic that someone would want us to cover. So these are kind of just like, I don't know. We grasp for what are going to be the most interesting, what are the most exciting, what are the most, like, what are the things that are announcing projects or big speculative rumors type of thing.
Yeah. And so like I said, usually to us, because a lot of our conversations revolve around Marvel and DC properties these days.
Yeah.
And
Star
today
Wars
is no exception.
Star Wars, Harry Potter. Like it
There's
is
your segue.
It is a fairly it's a fairly nerd or geeky kind of oriented new show. But yeah, segue. So Anthony Mackie, who up until this point in the MCU we've known as
Falcon.
Sam Wilson, Falcon. And I have always loved his portrayal of Falcon. Mm-hmm. I know that it was, it's a deviation from the comics in a lot of ways, certainly. But, at the time that he was introduced in the MCU, it was the right interpretation of the character. Like it just doing Falcon the way Falcon appears in the comics, it wouldn't have made a lot of sense. It was not grounded enough for the version of the MCU that we had at the time.
Really the biggest departure is he doesn't have a psychic link to a bird.
Yeah, interestingly, if you were to introduce Sam Wilson now in the MCU, I think you could play it a lot closer to comics, because the MCU's gotten weird. Mm-hmm. But at the time, it made sense. I've always enjoyed it. The Falcon and Winter Soldier show, it had some great moments. Overall, I was a little let down by it. But if you haven't seen the show at this point, spoilers ahead. Sam really kind of, and it's not even a spoiler because technically at the end of Endgame, Sam is sort of awarded the title of Captain America from Steve Rogers. Old man Steve Rogers hands him the shield and says, "How does it feel?" And he says, "It feels like it feels like someone else's." And Steve says, "Well, it shouldn't." And it's a cute moment. It's fun. And then basically Falcon and Winter Soldier is all about Sam. Sam's like given the shield away. He like donated it to the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
And so that the government could display it all beautifully and all nice and what a tribute.
Honor the legacy of his friend.
Yeah, and instead the government goes out and finds the biggest douchebag they possibly can. And put him in a new Captain America suit and give him the shield. He's literally got no powers. He's just a guy he's just a figurehead, right?
Yeah.
It's basically the show of Sam Wilson coming to terms with the idea that he can be the new Captain America.
Yeah, it's about the ideals he holds and not the power he wields.
Yeah. And so the end of that movie or the end of that series is Sam fully donning the mantle of Captain America in a
Falcon America. No, right. You're right. No, it's not Falcon.
In a pretty badass suit.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I was kind of surprised. I was glad that they didn't just go like, okay, we're just going to put him, he's not going to have wings anymore. He's not going to, he's just going to be in a Captain America suit. No, it was a sick suit provided to him by the Wakandans, I believe.
Yeah, very similar to the comic book
yes.
suit he wears when he becomes Captain America.
Yeah. And so we've known for a little while now that Captain America, or Sam Wilson as Captain America moving forward, is going to be, at least in some part, a player in the MCU. We know that there's a movie coming. We now have a title for that. It's Captain America New World Order. But yeah, Captain America. And obviously Captain America is going to show up in our Avengers films. Like when you sit and you sort of speculate of like, okay, looking at the MCU with all of our characters now of like Shang-Chi, and Doctor Strange and the Eternals and Kate Bishop's Hawkeye and some of the more like the Disney Plus characters like Moon Knight, who is going to be our Avenger team. And I don't think anyone has any doubt on their mind that Captain America is going to be a part of that. But in a recent interview, Anthony Mackie was asked about the dynamic of the new Avengers team. And is Sam Wilson's Captain America the leader of the new Avengers? Because Steve Rogers very much was the leader. He was their captain. He was a captain of the Avengers. I would say followed very, very semi-closely, like one of his lieutenants would have been Iron Man, just as sort of like a figurehead, someone that other people on the Avengers team would sort of look to for direction. But Captain America was undoubtedly the leader of the Avengers. And Anthony Mackie replied and basically said, not my Captain America. Like, basically just said, Sam doesn't have any powers. Sam is a character who is, kind of swimming in a pool out of his own, like he's not in his own lane here in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he's team support like Hawkeye.
Yeah, and up until this point, he's only been a supporting character. He's kind of been a side character, right? He's been sort of a sidekick to Steve Rogers' Captain America. And it kind of makes sense. Like, I can't see, as great as a character as he is, and I do think he has leadership skills, and he does have the military background that someone like Steve Rogers did, but he's clearly not a super soldier. And when you take a mere mortal in a pretty cool suit and you place them in a position and then expect them to have command over people like Shuri's Black Panther or Captain Marvel or like these or Thor, like these really strong, powerful beings, I just don't see that, in a Lord of the Flies world. Wow. Sam Wilson is not leading that team. So I'm curious, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this? And also, of the people who could lead the Avengers moving forward, out of sort of the catalog of MCU characters that we have, who do you think is sort of the right pick? Who do you think Marvel will go with?
Okay, well, first off, I see and I understand Anthony Mackie's point and your point, which is similar, and I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, I think and I also disagree with your point that Captain America led the Avengers. I always see him, even in a lot of the comic books and the TV show runs, Captain America co-leads most of the time, in my opinion, alongside Iron Man.
Okay.
And Iron Man
is
just
very similar to what
a smart dude in a suit. He's a stupid smart dude in a suit. But like, yeah, he's just a man. He's just a human.
Yeah.
In this, if you're like line up Captain America beside Falcon's got way more leadership skill and qualities than Iron Man ever did.
Oh, right? For sure.
So I don't see why he couldn't, in my opinion. Like, he's got that kind of military strategic mind. He's good in a fight. He's not super powered, but he has tech that helps him out and makes him a formidable foe, even against some superpowered individuals. But even just like Cap, he can be out of his league depending on who he's fighting. Right. So, but that just kind of comes down to that, because he's a proven warrior, both through military and through being a superhero. He would know when he's out of his element and when he needs to call in the big guns to take the fight to the next level.
You know who else has that military background, though?
Rhodey.
Also Rhodey, that's another one. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Rhodey's another interesting choice.
Yeah.
But so does Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
Yeah, she does too. Yeah, so I would see them, yeah. Captain Marvel is always portrayed as a hothead, which makes her a poor leader.
And she's also always off-world.
Yeah. Yes.
Like she's got a lot of her jurisdiction is a lot bigger than Sam Wilson's.
Yeah, which apparently that's supposed to play a big role in the Marvels movie that's coming up.
Well,
that's a big plot point.
She says something about it in Endgame. Yeah, they're like, "Where the hell have you been?" And she's like, "You think you're the only planet with like shit going on right now?"
Yeah, I think Sam Wilson is would make a great leader for the new Avengers team. Not only because of the things that we've just talked about, but also because you look at who the new Avengers are going to be.
Well, we don't know.
For the most part, no. Well, you can make some assumptions. You can make some assumptions, still there. Right?
Hulk
for
is
the most
still
part, they're green in terms of their how they're not veterans in superhero and fighting, right? Like stature. You got Ant-Man's daughter is a potential Avenger. Even Ant-Man himself is green in comparison to Falcon. Yeah. You got Ironheart and Riri Williams.
She-Hulk
can handle themselves, but again, like as smart as they may be, or they don't have that military strategic mind the way that somebody like Falcon would have. They don't have that leadership that Falcon could bring. So in my mind, like all the people that they've introduced, like She-Hulk, and like all these new characters they've introduced in this last phase, Falcon, in my opinion, is the best choice. Right? You're not going to, I don't see them making a new team with a lot of old Avengers.
Oh, I think there'll be some carry through. Like Thor's
there might be a few, but for the most part, I don't think you're going to see a lot. It's going to be more like the beginning of Civil War, right? And the end of Ultron. The end of Age of Ultron, there was like, here Iron Man stepping down from helping with the team, and these are the new Avengers, and they're pretty much all brand new recruits.
Yeah.
Right? Especially like you look at that shot right at the end of Age of Ultron, is like they just picked up half of these people this in this movie. And then now I feel like that's what the new one's going to be like. So I think he's your best choice for leading the team.
I have a theory for who Marvel might go with. And I don't like it's not a theory that I'm on paper on board with. But I mean, this type of thing happens all the time, right? Like something comes out and they're like the last little while I'd been talking smack and being like, I don't know if I see a place for this Dungeons and Dragons movie. But you know what? The most recent trailers totally flipped my mind. I'm like, okay, you know what? I hadn't seen the story. I didn't know the vision. I didn't know what you were going to turn this into. And now I think this is genius and is going to make a lot of money. And so I go into this theory saying, I don't think it would work and I don't think it's a good idea, but I do see that this might be what Marvel's been trying to lay the groundwork for. So I have a sneaking suspicion that they might try to do this. I go into it saying, I don't think it will work, but also I don't know what the plan is. I don't know.
You don't have the grand vision.
Yeah, I don't know the grand vision. And so maybe I'll hear it as an idea and I'll go, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That's awful. And then you'll do it. And I'll go, oh, okay. Actually, this is pretty great. Did you say you wanted to guess? Is that what
Yeah.
Okay. Who?
Is it? Okay. It's either Natasha Romanoff.
Ooh, no, she's dead.
I know. That's a joke, yes.
But I mean, it's multiverse.
The Hulk?
It's
the Hulk?
It's the fake death. It's the Marvel fake death universe. So, no, not the Hulk.
Not the Hulk. Who could it be? I don't know.
You'd be very surprised. This is someone who I'm going to say like
this is like way out of left field. Is it somebody who's already in the universe?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's
been there.
It's not Doctor Strange. Can't be Strange.
No, Strange, because Benedict Cumberbatch has actually gone on record saying, Doctor Strange isn't actually even a part of the Avengers. Like, he's sort of a subcontractor. He's got his own thing, and he shows up whenever they need him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Who is it?
Now, bear with me and let me explain why I think this is what Marvel's might be trying to do. And you'll know instantly why I think it won't work. But I think there's a possibility that what Marvel might be working towards is the leader of the new Avengers being Spider-Man.
What?
And
You've lost your marbles.
Now, exactly. But hang on. So hang with me here.
All right. Okay.
Obviously, I don't, for the same reasons that I don't think it'll work, you don't think it will work, which is he's a kid. He's a kid. And
knows him.
much like my concerns with Sam Wilson, they're just multiplied when it comes to Peter Parker, right?
Yeah.
Rhodey is not going to take orders from some kid from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
from Queens.
Especially when they don't even know who he really is.
Nobody even knows who he is anymore, and blah, 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 right? So there's all of that. And those are the reasons why I'm like, I just, it seems like I wouldn't buy it, but I haven't seen the plan. I don't know what they're doing. I haven't read the script, but two reasons why I have a suspicion that might be what Marvel's going to do. One is there are times in the comics, I mean, just about everyone has led the Avengers in the comics at some point. I'm pretty sure Wolverine led the Avengers at some point in the comics. But Spider-Man has been the leader of the Avengers in the comics. Briefly, but he has done it. So there is source material precedent for it. The other reason that I think they might do it is the notion that, they would say, well, this is the guy that Tony believed in. Tony thought that this guy, because he was like Tony's protege, right? And they might go, this was like other Avenger team members are going to, because you kind of have to sort of be assigned that role from everyone else, right? It's kind of like everyone else has to kind of say, okay, you're our leader. And there might be some dialogue about this was the guy that Tony believed in. Like Tony thought that this was the guy. Tony saw something in this guy, and not just saw something in him in the sense that he could fight along with us, but left him the Edith or whatever it was, the glasses, and like really thought that Peter Parker was the future of this team, right? There'll be some sort of like recording from Tony that it's uncovered. They'll get Robert Downey Jr. to shoot a cameo for a recording. And it will be some recording where he talks about how Peter Parker is the future of the Avengers and is going to take over his place in the event of, whatever. And again, it's not an idea that I jump on board with right away, that I'm like, okay, this makes total sense, let's do it. But I do see the potential for that being what Marvel has up their sleeve.
That's a very interesting thought.
Yeah. Again, who knows?
There's a lot of holes that punch into it. But,
absolutely.
I think the biggest one there, and I think this is what they need to deal with in the next Spider-Man, is you kind of mentioned like he gave him the Edith glasses and stuff like that. They still haven't dealt with the repercussions that Spider-Man killed Mysterio, quote unquote, supposedly. Right, like
that's what the public believes.
The public believes that, like, because of that faked video, that he killed Mysterio. Like the no way home never dealt with that fully. Never came to the end of that conclusion. They just separated.
Do you know where I think
that
they'll
problem
deal with that?
From Peter Parker?
Yeah,
that's
you know
all
where I
did.
think they're going to deal with that.
In Avengers,
I think they're going to deal with that in the Daredevil series.
Oh, because he showed up in the movie,
right? Matt Murdock is his lawyer.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
Spider-Man on trial.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, moving on. So I'm pumped. I don't know if you're pumped, but we're like a week. Let me look at the calendar. I think like next week. Next week we are going to be. Yeah. Next week you and I are going to sit down. We're going to record our review for the first episode of Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
Man. And little things are dropping on the internet, stuff that we're not talking about today. They're not spoilers.
No, they're just conversations in interviews that with.
There's conversations and interviews and stuff talking about like, what's one of the ones I read today? And again, this doesn't actually give anything away. The Jedi that saved Grogu from the temple is who that is going to be revealed in this season of The Mandalorian.
Nice.
Right. And so stuff like that. It is, I don't know who it is. That hasn't been revealed. So it's not a spoiler, but
yeah.
But I'm excited. I am excited for this. I'm actually in the process. I've been rewatching. I got to barrel through them here, but I've been rewatching Mando season 1 and 2 just to be like, I'm not going to rewatch Boba Fett.
Well, you could do Boba Fett and you could just do like the Mandalorian arc.
That episode.
2 or 3 episodes and then the last episode.
Man, Mandalorian was such a messy. Like, it was cool to see the show starts. You see the inside of the Sarlacc pit and stuff, and that was kind of cool. But it was also just like a weird, because it was like a time jump.
Yeah, the jumping back and forth, I wasn't a huge fan of. I enjoyed the show overall. I thought the show was great. I thought, like, I can see why people might hate it on it, but for me, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Well, like, and it was one of those, like, put a little more time into prep. Like, I'm not going to fat shame anyone, but when Boba Fett puts on 40 pounds in the Sarlacc pit, it's like, come on, man. Like, people whip their ass into shape for all kinds of roles. Like, you must have known this was coming. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. A couple of days now, Mando season 3 drops. Jon Favreau recently disclosed in an interview that season 4 of The Mandalorian is already written. Mm-hmm. And that it was done that way because he was like, we've got these shows coming. We've got Skeleton Crew and we've got Ahsoka, and all of these shows take place during the same time, right? They're all kind of happening
all within like the same year or two.
Yeah, and so he said, in order to tell the best story that we could and fully understand where this was going, as in terms of these other shows, we had to sort of write a little further ahead. We had to know what our plans for Mandalorian was, which
so that
also
feels like it's working together instead of against,
which also just bodes well. Not only does that bode well for the other shows, but it bodes well for Mandalorian, because then, so often you'll have a series that ends, or things that happen in a season, and then after the season's over or towards the end of that season, then they start writing the next season, and they're like, oh, okay, well, our hands are sort of tied by XYZ, or this is what we set up, so we have to address that. We have to deal with that now, rather than doing this other storyline that we've just thought of.
Yeah. For the listener, the other shows are season 4 and Ahsoka specifically. I think he's referring to,
and Skeleton Crew. And he talks about Skeleton Crew as well. Maybe not in that article, but he did in the interview. That it's also in that era.
Yeah, Skeleton. In this article, he talks near the end. Yeah, Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte.
The Acolyte. That's the name of that's the Star Wars show that I'm the most looking forward to. The most looking forward to, because that's the show that's like centered around the Sith.
So the Acolyte actually it won't affect Acolyte.
I think
Acolyte
takes set in a different time.
Place before the movies.
Yeah. Anyways, I am very excited to hear this. I think this is another brilliant move by Jon Favreau. It continues to cement the fact that Jon Favreau is one of the best choices, if not the best choice, to be in the position that he's in right now. That he's got the foresight, that he's dealing with this kind of, like he's just a smart guy. And
he
was also
the future of Star Wars.
And he was also asked, because there was rumors going around that all these shows that are happening at the same time were kind of building towards doing a movie, doing like a Mandalorian verse movie.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Where all these kind of shows cross over. And Jon Favreau shot it down pretty quick. He said, it's a lot of work kind of just keeping these shows going at the quality that we're, like this is already an 8-day-a-week job doing this, let alone worrying about trying to, cross them all over in some big movie. And I have no doubt they'll continue to cross over in each other's shows, but yeah, it doesn't look like that movie's coming. But anyways, you hear this. You hear that Mandalorian season 4 is already written. We haven't seen a lick of Mando season 3, but Mando season 4 is already written. The script is locked in, and all they have to do now is do some pre-production and shoot the thing. What are your thoughts?
How can this not be good news? How can that, like, this is good. How can this not be good? Right? Like, we know we're getting a season 4. We know that they're meticulously planning out not only what the Mandalorian is going, but where other shows can go and not step on its toes, but play well off of it.
They're taking continuity seriously.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah. So I think it's great.
Cool.
I've said.
Cool. Have you seen the first 2 Venom movies?
I have.
And what'd you think?
I thought they were good. I thought they were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one I didn't enjoy as much as the first, but it was still good.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue I think I have with the second one, and with what we're going to talk about too, I'm going to jump the gun a little bit, is I don't like how Eddie Brock's character feels like he's got more of a parasite than a symbiotic relationship, if that makes sense. Right? Like, it doesn't... He doesn't... It's almost like he's lost control of his own body.
Right.
I don't know. I've always imagined the symbiotes affecting the human host more the way they did in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3, where it kind of amplifies or kind of redirects one or the other, depending on the symbiote, your personality. Well,
yeah, the symbiote is kind of like the Mask in the Jim Carrey Mask movie. That you're still in control, but it's taking all of the like certain aspects of your personality and like intensifying them.
Yeah, for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, but for the Venomverse, the symbiotes take over control of the host frequently.
Right.
Like, especially like when the mask is donned, it's almost, it feels like that's no longer Tom Hardy at all.
Right.
That's just Venom in full control. And then Venom can release control back to Tom Hardy, but can take over at any time, like kind of fighting with himself scenes and stuff, like at the beginning of Venom 2. Like,
right.
It's great for comedic relief. And makes the film a lot of fun. It's not how I envision it, but they do a great job of it. So overall, I really have enjoyed them. I know some people didn't like the second one as much as the first one. I thought they were both kind of on par, equal footing.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, rejoice, because not only is Venom 3 on the way, but it's also already in pre-production. Tom Hardy dropped a picture on his Instagram the other day of what looked like a New York City kind of setting, which is fascinating because up until this point, our Venom character has not been in New York City. He's been in LA. And so that's exciting. Or San Francisco? He's been in San Francisco.
Other side of the country, one way or the other.
Yeah, he's been in California. And so, Venom 3 is coming, and it's not just an idea on a whiteboard. It's not just an empty promise. They are like Tom Hardy is prepping. He's probably working out like mad, doing a little vocal exercises for his vocal cords so that he doesn't strain his voice doing the Venom voice. What are your thoughts? Are you excited? Are you do we need another Venom film in this sort of Sony Spider-Verse that they're fleshing out, or should they be focusing their energy more on other characters now?
I'm a little confused here. I feel like I need to give you 5 minutes to re-click that Venom link that you sent me, because it's not a picture. It's an actual behind the scenes video of a shot from the filming of the film.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry. It's where's the link I sent you?
Because it's like he's getting out of an Uber or something, and he's like fighting with Venom about going inside a building.
Yes. Sorry. It's not it. Okay. You're right.
You watched the video, right?
I did watch the video, okay. But it's an Instagram post. I got that part right.
Yeah. It's not a picture though.
But definitely seems very New York City compared to what we've seen in the past, doesn't it?
I mean, I don't know New York that well. It's a big city. That's all my takeaway. They're in front of a hospital. I don't know.
You've been to New York.
I don't know New York hospitals well enough to say that that's a New York hospital.
but you've been to New York.
Yeah, but I mean, different parts of cities look different. This could be New York easily enough, I suppose, but it could still be San Francisco.
Could be San Francisco.
They're talking about going inside to see Eddie's lady friend, so that leads me to believe it's more than likely still San Francisco.
Yeah, probably. Man, his I don't know. Eddie's Tom Hardy's ability, the acting that he does playing off of himself.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
It hasn't been CGI'd, whether or not in the scene, because this is a fairly public scene, so we don't know if the whole sort of floating the
head's gonna
Venom floating head is going to be edited into this. But even if it's not, it's just
Tom Hardy can act. Much
like Bruce Campbell with the hand.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But I would say, and maybe to your chagrin, this is even one level up from that, because this is full body, fighting to opening a door and then closing the door again and opening the door, and he's
jerky
fighting with himself
back and forth.
Yeah, he seems possessed.
Bruce Campbell could have done it in his heyday, but he's old and not physical, can't pull off physical acting anymore. But I bet you he could have
maybe
back in the day.
That would have been interesting. A Bruce Campbell Venom.
Maybe he could be one of the other symbiotes, because I don't know if you have you heard rumors about who the other antagonist or protagonist in this film are potentially going to be?
No, because who have we? So obviously the second Venom film was Carnage, but we got several in the first one. Right, there was
we've seen several different symbiotes, but only one of them hosted properly.
Because who is the main one in the first one?
I don't know, something like Wreckage or Wrecker. I don't know, some weird destruction name like that.
My guess would be, if I had to guess where the next logical place to go, my guess would be that you would go with Scream.
Right, because we had what's her name from Carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rumor I heard or saw, whatever, internet, was that the story is going to potentially swing towards an anti-Venom.
Oh.
So his anti-Venom's Carnage's big thing was that he could create lots of limbs with sharp edges and was kind of crazy, like its host. Anti-Venom's thing is like kind of camouflagey, blend into the environment, and he can also create like antibodies and healing properties or something like that for other people, not just its host.
Right. Yeah, anti-venom.
So
I'm just looking up. Eddie Brock's venom codexes were combined with his white blood cells thanks to some mystical assistance by Mr. Negative. Ooh. Can you imagine they bring Mr. Negative in? That'd be cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different, like looking at the list right here, Venom, Carnage, Toxin, Null, Anti-Venom, Plague, Scream, Lasher, Riot, Phage, Agony, Hybrid, Scorn, Payback, Mania. Like there's so many. I think it was Riot from the first one, wasn't it?
That sounds right. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at this point they gotta be all offspring from Venom potentially. Unless they go like more current, they try and kind of build the Venom versus the Venom symbiote lore out longer, bigger, deeper, and kind of bring in the Lord of the Symbiotes, Null, who created the symbiotes, which is, I think, a little too big and too bold for them to go with where they're currently at.
Yeah, but quite yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
From that.
Cool. Moving on. Over to DC. as we do. Aquaman 2. Aquaman 2 is on the horizon. We have several DC sort of, I don't know what you even call them now. DC films that are canonical but are part of the old slate.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got Flash, you've got Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which looks amazing.
The pre-gun movies.
Yeah. And Aquaman 2.
Yeah, I thought you were going to read the title show notes just verbatim there for a minute. I thought that would have been really funny.
And it turns out, here we go. It turns out we have reports that there are insiders who are saying that Aquaman 2 is awful. That it's a horrible film. That it's extremely disappointing. Is I think actually the quote. Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, excuse me. These are just reports. You have to take this with a grain of salt. Aquaman 2 could come out and be like we haven't seen it, right? So it could be garbage. It could be the greatest comic book film we've ever seen. We just simply don't know. But this is definitely interesting. And it made me think about all of the talking that James Gunn has done, specifically that announcement video where he came out and he talked about the future slate. And he does talk about sort of these pre-existing films. And he didn't say a lot about Aquaman 2. Like, he does talk about it. He says, that the Flash movie moves nicely into Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
But
that's about it.
He's singing, like some of these other films, he's like singing praises for, right?
Well,
he's gone on record
Flash
saying Flash is one of the greatest films he's ever seen.
Aquaman by comparison.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Is this something that we don't know that James Gunn knows? Like, obviously James Gunn has seen Aquaman 2. And I don't know. It's interesting. It can't be like, maybe it's not very good. If it's not very good and they're still moving full steam ahead, it's interesting, specifically because of what they just did with the Batwoman movie or the Batgirl movie, right? They shot a movie that was originally supposed to be a direct to streaming movie. Then someone one of the higher ups said, "Hey, you know what? Let's give this a theatrical release instead." Like partway through production, they're like, "Let's make this a theatrical release." And so then all of a sudden, you had something that was set to go into theaters with sort of a not quite a theater budget. Like it was. If you looked at the images of the costumes and stuff for this movie, it looked very like Arrowverse-esque. And then ultimately this movie was shot and finished and in the can, and Michael Keaton was in it as Batman, and Brendan Fraser was in it as Firefly, and the movie shot. And it sounds like it's never going to see the light of day because people are like, we can't release this. Like this is awful. This will hurt our brand if we release this film.
This is bad.
Yeah, and so clearly Aquaman 2 isn't that bad because Warner Brothers has already set a precedent saying if something's truly garbage, we just won't release it.
Yeah.
We'll take a hit and not recoup any money, and we'll just keep it because
just make it a tax write-off.
Yeah, we care more about quality than we do just simply getting the product out. I don't know. Aquaman 2 is not a movie. Like, I think the first one's pretty good. Aquaman's not a character. Even Jason Momoa's portrayal, like it's not. The first Aquaman wasn't one of my favorite films. He's not one of my favorite characters. So I was already a little lukewarm to the idea of seeing the next one, but this certainly isn't helping. This isn't helping my interest level. But anyways, you hear this, and what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, my first thought is this is just critics being critics and hating on a movie that fans are going to love, which is, like you can look at a lot of Rotten Tomatoes scores on a lot of kind of geeky franchise films, and critics like slam it hard, but the kind of fan reviews are like through the roof. So like that's my first thought is like, this could potentially just be people not knowing what they're watching. But yeah, like the first Aquaman was good. It wasn't great. And now I don't know, like with all the delays and COVID shooting and messy stuff happening around the film, yeah, it has the potential to be bad too. So it could be just a bad film. Yeah. So, but like you said, if James Gunn is saying it's going to come out, and they've already kind of set that precedent to can bad films, how bad can it really be?
Yeah, there's got to be something there.
Yeah, it's got to be. There's probably some redeeming quality, even if it's not Amber Heard. Shots fired. Oh,
all right. So moving on. One of the shows, we were talking about the sheer vomiting of content that the MCU's done in the last little while, and how they're actually moving away from that Bob Iger has said, look, we're going to slow down. We're going to slow down, and we're going to focus on good content. We're going to make sure that everything that's going out the door is top notch. And you and I rejoiced.
Yeah. Good news. Quality and quantity.
There's a bunch of shows that are sort of lined up right now with the MCU. One of them being the Agatha Harkness show. And
forgot all about it.
Yeah. And it's one that I'm most excited for.
Really?
Yeah. Well, her character was so good in WandaVision.
Yeah, I'd agree she was good.
But it's now been delayed. And it seems like not necessarily a result of of these Bob Iger things.
Yeah.
But because of story issues. And it sounds like
and they were like not just delayed, like it doesn't have a pushed back release date. It's got like the article you linked me says like to be determined. We don't even have a time at which we know we want to release this content.
So rumors have it the way it's sort of sounding is that they were actually already shooting it. That they were in the process of shooting, and basically someone, I don't know if it was Kevin Feige or if it was the director or what, but the consensus was reached that like, okay, we have some story issues here. We have some issues. This isn't turning out, this isn't what we want to make. This isn't the quality that we want it to be. So let's stop shooting and rework this. And if this is true, if it's true that they were already shooting and weren't happy with the story and were like, okay, let's pump the brakes, then A, this is a really big deal, and B, hats off to Marvel. If that's the case, if they were already shooting, if they were already full steam ahead, let's do this, okay, we're already making it, like, let's just make it. And they were like, no, this isn't the quality that we want to put out. And maybe this is them learning from She-Hulk a little bit, going like, okay, we can't just throw a bunch of things together and call it a show. If this is true, I commend Marvel, and I think this is, as sad as I am that it's been delayed, I think that this is really exciting, and this shows a real level of integrity from a storytelling and a content delivering standpoint. Because that's not cheap. It's not, if you're already, everyone's there, you're already on set, cameras are on set, we're shooting this thing, we're an episode in, sets are built, here we go. To cancel it, or not cancel it, but to pump the brakes and say, we can do better, and we're going to stop and spend the money that we need to spend in order to make this better. I'm sure there's a lot of frustrated people. I'm sure Catherine Hahn is like, okay, what the hell? Like, I'm here, I'm in the costume. This is the slot in my schedule that I've allotted to make this show. But this could not, if this is true, it could not excite me more and just make me that much more proud again to be an MCU fan. You hear this, you hear the rumors. Again, you have to take some of this with a grain of salt because we really don't know all the details. Yeah. But what are your thoughts? I
forgot all about her. Like, honestly, like even
She's
with
Agatha Harkness, how can you forget about Agatha Harkness?
Even with the most recent Doctor Strange movie, I forgot she even existed. So you put this on the show notes, and I was like, oh yeah, she's a thing. And then it hit me. Like, the last time we saw her, she was under Wanda's spell to just live a mundane, normal life
in Westview
and not realize anything that's happened or the abilities that she has. And then it just kind of hit me as like, oh crap, Wanda's dead. The spell is gone. This is like
I don't think Wanda's
good way
dead,
to kind of this is a good reason to kind of explore the character, I guess. At the same time, so that's that kind of thought process that I had as I looked at this morning. I was just like, oh yeah, okay, this could be cool. I mean, as good as she was as an antagonist, I still don't know if she deserves her own show. I mean, like, you think about all the antagonists that exist in the Marvel MCU and that are still alive. And she's not at the top of my list to have her own show. She's probably somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Like pre She-Hulk, I would have said Abomination would have been way cooler standalone show.
Yeah,
Something like that.
And then She-Hulk basically neutered Abomination.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I guess I'm a little more excited about it at the prospect of the idea that, oh yeah, the spell is broken. And that's like a really easy way to kind of all of a sudden make her a threat again. It's just because Wanda's gone. No more spell. So they don't have to kind of do some kind of like if Wanda was still around, they would have to do some kind of like fancy script writing and storytelling to break the spell. But they don't have to do that now.
Right.
So it's just like the show starts off and like a red haze around her, just kind of like a small like dispersion of red haze from her eyes or something. And it's like, okay, that's Wanda's dead. And she finds out somehow that Wanda's dead and within the first episode or two. And it's just like hit the ground running.
Yeah.
But,
which I still don't think she's dead.
I do. I hope so. I mean, multiverse, so she's still alive somewhere, but
no, I don't even think our 616 Wanda's dead.
I do. I think so. Yeah. I hope so.
Okay. Let's make this interesting. I think that's a wager I'm willing to take. But yeah. Cool.
But yeah, as far as the delay, yeah, this is kind of like the Mandalorian thing, right? Like forethought and making sure the job's done right. How can it be bad?
Yeah. Cool. All right, moving on. You and I are both gamers, video gamers, and board gamers, but also video gamers. And recently, I would say I owned you. I decimated you.
You thoroughly
took you to school.
Yeah.
And playing Age of Empires 2.
Yeah. I would say the second game we played was more me not fully understanding the controls and
that's not my fault.
No, it's not. I'm blaming myself for not doing my research and but anyway.
Because you were talking your own fair share of smack ahead of time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how's that pie taste?
Delicious.
So listen, a video game that my eyes and heart and everything else are set on, not just because of the subject matter, but also just like visually it looks amazing, gameplay wise it looks very impressive, is Hogwarts Legacy. And Hogwarts Legacy is sweeping the nation. I'm not alone. That's not a fringe opinion to say, hey, I'm really excited about Hogwarts Legacy. It's out and everyone's playing it. I've not yet played it because I don't know, it's like $100 game, and I got like 95 other games that I've not played yet that are already sitting on my heart, like sitting in my catalog that I own, and I just haven't gotten to them. But very, very, very excited about this game. And it seems like so this game. And for those who don't know, the game developers acknowledge that this game it's not canon, right? It's not canon to the books or the movies. It's just kind of its own thing because they didn't have, I don't think they had the approval. Oh, they must have had the approval from just because of the way the rights work. But like J.K. Rowling was not a story consultant on it, I don't think. So like...
Yeah, they wanted to make a game in that world that didn't involve the main characters from the books and the movies.
Yeah, so it's set like 100 years prior, and
they've taken storytelling liberties and changing and by choosing a time and a place. Well, not a place, the same place, but by choosing a time in which it doesn't and it would have a hard time affecting all those other stories.
Yeah. But people are people are loving this game, and they're loving the story, and they're loving the world, and they're loving the characters. And we recently talked about how the roadmap for the Harry Potter film franchise and the media, visual media, has the roadmap's a little unclear. So we had been getting those Fantastic Beasts movies, but Warner Brothers, Eddie Redmayne, the main character, the main actor in that series, has kind of said, like, I think we might be done. Like, I haven't heard anything about doing the next one, so I think we're cutting these short, because it was originally supposed to be like 5 films or something, was like their initial story arc that they had kind of planned out this was going to go over. And after 3, it looks like maybe they're cutting that short. They're just not going to finish it. We'd speculated on, okay, so then what do you do? Do you do a different spin-off series? Are they going to reboot Harry Potter and do it all over again? Are you going to do a proper Harry Potter sequel years later with the characters that have now aged and their parents and their kids are at Hogwarts and blah, blah, blah? Like, what are you going to do? It looks like one of the things that might be coming is a spin-off television series based on this video game. We know that Zaslav over at Warner Brothers, he's not dumb, and he gets that Harry Potter is one of their franchises, one of the properties that they own, that is a potential license to print money. Like, this is an important franchise. It's an important IP, and it's not one that you just sit on. So you got to do something with it. It looks like in light of the love surrounding this new game, the plans are to move forward with a television series. I haven't played the game yet, like I said, so I can't say either way whether or not that's something that I'm excited for. I think I would have to play the game before I was truly excited for this kind of show. But I do think it's an interesting move, and I do think that it stands to do better than the Fantastic Beasts movies did. Because one of the issues that I've talked about in the past, it was a real big sticking point for those Fantastic Beasts films, something that made them, sort of tethered them to the ground and prevented them from taking flight, was that for the most part, they're very detached from the wizarding world that we know. Right. We see finally in the third film, we finally get to Hogwarts, but we're only there for a brief little while. It's not that like, oh, here's the castle and here's Hogsmeade Village and here's the Hogwarts Express and here's, whereas this game is set in that, very much in that world. And so I think if you do a show, even though it's not going to be with the characters from the books and the films that we all know and love, I think, the castle is a setting, but it's also a character. It's a character in and of itself in this world, really. Especially because, the castle is kind of in its own way alive, right? It's got these secrets. It's like, there's something paintings magical about it.
Statues come alive.
Yeah. And so it is its own character. And I think it's a vital character if you're going to do something that doesn't circle around Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So I see this as potentially being successful. I certainly see it as having more potential than the Fantastic Beasts franchise. But yeah, I assume you haven't played the game.
No, I have not. I don't have the time or the money.
No, but you've certainly seen things on it, and I would assume you agree that like it looks like an achievement in video games.
Yeah, it's definitely something on my wish list as well. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? Does this, having not played the game, does this make sense to invest time and money and energy into making this series? And what are your thoughts on what difference it's going to make that this will be a Hogwarts centric property versus just like, oh, there's wizards, but we're in London, and it's or even the first Fantastic Beasts movie takes place in New York. Like, it's got almost nothing to do with, there's some name drops. There's like Dumbledore. They say Dumbledore at one point. They talk about Muggles at one point. But it's really kind of very segregated. So will this make a big difference?
So I'm not as big as a Potterhead as you or some other people might be. It's not, I'm not as invested as I am in like Star Wars or the MCU. But my first thought about like creating more content in this world would be to do something like what Puss in Boots has done for Shrek, and what like Mandalorian is doing with Star Wars and Andor and stuff like that, is that just you don't have to focus on the main characters over and over and over and over again, right? This is a lush, vast world with lots of opportunities for storytelling and characters, and even though it hasn't been around as long as Star Wars, I can only assume there's lots of kind of lore and content there, canon content there to pull from. Right. So like, I think I've talked about Puss in Boots and what Shrek's done, and how there's opportunity for more content there, just because there's all kinds of kids stories and fairy tales and poems that they can pull from, kind of twist and bastardize the way Puss in Boots and Shrek is done to make a really interesting story, even though it's not set in the land far, far away in the castle where Shrek lives, and it's not following Shrek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and that's kind of what they did with Fantastic Beasts. Now, you're saying, as somebody who's invested more in Harry Potter than I am, that's kind of been a failure. Is that accurate to say?
I would think it's certainly hurt it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, I thought it was, I've only seen the first one. I might have seen the second one. I can't remember. But like, I thought the first one was a lot of fun. It was really cool. I got to see more of this universe, not locked into a very specific place, which was interesting. Right. Like what is magic like in the United States? That was a really cool perspective.
Yeah.
So all that being said, you're locking yourself into that place again, but you're pulling from a different time or a different era, or in this case, different source material. So yeah, it's got lots of potential to work. Sounds exciting. I'm not over the moon about it, but that's not a fault of the product. That's just me not being as big a fan of it.
Right. Yeah. No, interesting. No, I think there's a lot of potential here. I wonder how long this idea has sort of been potentially in the works, because the game just came out, and so it seems like it could be a little strange if this is like it has the potential to come across as a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Right.
Game does well. Let's make show.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if this was something that like they thought about 3 days ago, and now it's like, okay, we're doing this. Look, they like the game. Let's do the game. Let's make the game quick.
Yeah.
But
there's lightning in a bottle here. It's magic. Let's go.
Yeah, but also maybe it's not, right? Maybe this is something that has been thought out over a while, and they were we really don't know.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, speaking of magic.
Okay. Speaking of magic, Doctor Strange 3 is in development.
Ooh.
I don't think there's much to say about this. I'm not surprised that they're going to do another one. The majority of these characters seem to get, like Thor sort of being the exception because there's been 4 Thor films now. They all sort of seem to get a trilogy, right? Guardians of the Galaxy had 3. Steve Rogers, Captain America had 3. Iron Man had 3.
Yeah.
It's just
Thor should have stopped at 2.
You don't like Ragnarok?
We won't talk. No, I was about to cut me out. I was going to say we should have skipping the middle one.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think Love and Thunder was definitely better than the whatever it is, the Dark World, Thor: The Dark World. Yeah. But
it felt like we're on a bit of a tangent now, but yeah, I thought Love and Thunder was mishandled, I'll say.
Oh, absolutely. They leaned far too far into the jokes and the comedy and
even when they did, I feel like they leaned the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
anyway. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we have a third one coming. It'll be interesting to see. In my opinion, there's no clear roadmap right now for Doctor Strange. Like
outside of the post-credit scene.
Outside of the post-credit scene, yeah, which I guess is what they're going to go with.
I mean, they kind of have to.
They kind of have to. Yeah, you've got the eye of whatever it is, like the Darkhold eye,
the third eye.
Yeah, that's on his forehead now, in a really disgusting, upsetting kind of way. I don't want to see a whole Doctor Strange film where he's got that because it's just like, it's unsettling. They did the effect
it's something
well,
they'll deal with right away in the film, and then it won't be a thing for the rest of it.
I hope so. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I think it'll be an interesting film, kind of delving more into the multiverse and dealing with the what do they call it when the two universes collide? A cataclysm.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
and it undoes, like they either one destroys the other, or they both get destroyed, or
it's
keep talking. I'll look it up.
I think it's set itself up well. Like that post-credit scene, like you're saying you don't know what they're going to do, but I feel like between what we get with Ant-Man and all the other kind of multiverse stuff that was set up in the last phase of Marvel's MCU, I should just call it the MCU because the M stands for Marvel. The Marvel universe. But I feel like they've set themselves up well to have this continuing multi-universe storyline and storytelling.
An incursion,
yeah. So dealing with this incursion and this other universe sorcerer, and it looks like the universe that she's coming from, and if I'm not mistaken in the comics, this is where she comes from too, is the one that we see in the first Doctor Strange that Dormammu comes from. The what do they call it again? The Dark Universe? No,
I don't know, the void or something.
Yeah. So,
something like that.
Yeah, looks good.
Who was it? Who shows up? Is it? Yeah, it's Charlize Theron who shows up. I'm excited. I'm a big Charlize Theron fan, so seeing her in the MCU, I'm like, okay.
The Dark Dimension. Yeah, it looks like the Dark Dimension through the open portal.
Yeah. No, I think I'm excited. I know that Multiverse of Madness was disappointing to a lot of people, and I kind of had my gripes with it as well, for sure. But ultimately, I don't dislike it in the way that, it sounds like a lot of other people do. And so it's, this is an exciting thing for me anyways. Sticking with the MCU as we do. I rhymed. I didn't mean to rhyme.
One of two universes we tend to stick to.
Yeah. Well, but this isn't the MCU. This is just, but it maybe is. I don't know. Here's the thing. So
it is and it isn't.
Spider-Man Across the Universe, a movie that we've talked about. We're both looking forward to. It should be a really good time. There are rumors. To be a great
animated flick.
Yes, animated.
Important to mention for this topic.
There are rumors. Now, rumors you always have to take with a grain of salt. But there are rumors, speculations, that Tom Holland could make a live-action cameo in Across the Universe. I don't even know where to begin in talking about, what does this mean? If this were to happen, in the grand scheme of things, what are the implications? And it just blows open so many different possibilities, because then all of a sudden it doesn't, if Tom Holland shows up as the MCU Spider-Man in a live action cameo, specifically a live action cameo, that would mean that Spider-Man Across the Universe, or this world that they've created, is not an animated adaptation, but that these are all universes within the Spider-Man multiverse that are animated worlds. Do you know what I mean? It kind of canonizes those as, because then it's these characters in the form that they're presented exist in that form, in the same world and realm and on the same plane as Tom Holland Spider-Man.
If they were to traverse the multiverse, they would show up as a cartoon character in the MCU.
Yes. Which poo-poos all over our idea of the live action Spider-Verse film.
Yeah.
I'm leaning, if I were to take the over under, I would go under 30% that this
would happen.
Yeah.
A live action Tom Holland in an animated film.
I think, I don't know. For what? For why? Why do this unless the sole purpose of this film is to set up something else, in which case it's going to, I think, do a disservice to, basically what you're going to be doing is devaluing the Spider-Verse universe, these animated ones, the Miles Morales movies, because essentially it would take, because at the end of the day, what the majority of people are going to care more about is the live action Tom Holland Spider-Man. And if all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is all building up towards something that has the Tom Holland Spider-Man in it, then it kind of doesn't, it just makes the Miles Morales universe something that exists in service of the MCU Spider-Man. And that feels dirty. I don't, let these things kind of be their own thing and have their own success and exist in their own little offshoot.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, yeah. I think if this happens, in my mind, the best way for it to play out would be what I've hypothesized in the past as a post-credit scene, right? Post-credit scene, Tom Holland Spider-Man swinging around or hanging out on top of a building. Portal opens in a couple feet off in the sky, a couple feet off the top of the rooftop, and out falls Miles Morales as a live action actor.
That could still work. That still is in line with this theory.
Yeah, so that's how I see it. Like, I don't see him dropping out as a cartoon character animated in a live action shot, or vice versa. I don't see either of those playing well with each other on screen.
Right.
But, maybe the writers had a epiphany and have made it work. I don't know. I don't think it does.
Yeah, it just seems messy.
Yeah. As far as like the universes being separate, the MCU and the Across the Spider-Verse, I mean, it's almost too late for that at this point. Right? The Spider-Verse has already dealt with multiple parallel universes in its very first film. The MCU's already done it. The Sony Spider-Man MCU collaboration standalone Spider-Man films have already done it. I mean, you've kind of already established that, hey, this is a thing that happens and has the opportunity to happen.
Right.
For all intensive purposes, all these worlds are already existing all at the same time, including the Venomverse, because the Venomverse was cameoed in a post-credit scene of Spider-Man, right? Yeah. In an MCU Sony film, right? So like all of these universes are already playing together, whether Sony and Marvel want them to or not. They've what's the word? They've already set a precedent.
Yeah.
Like whether an actor or a CEO or a writer or a director comes out and says, no, this is a completely separate universe, everyone else is going, yeah, only because you wish it to be so does not make it so. Like they're obviously already working in the same, like, I guess using the word same universe doesn't really work because they're parallel universes, but you know what I mean?
Same,
right? Like,
same continuity.
So they're all in the same continuity, whether you want them to be or not. You've already established it.
I mean, they could still keep them separate, and I hope they do, but yeah, it's Hollywood, and Hollywood seems to take the low-hanging fruit more often than not.
Yeah.
And so we don't really have any reason to think that they won't do it again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Sony and Marvel continue to play nice together by the sound of it, so might as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Okay, moving on to our final topic. Talking about important IPs, talking about low-hanging fruit. I already said that Zaslav over at Warner Brothers is very aware of how important their Harry Potter franchise is, and that you don't just sit on that. You do, you make something. You do more with it.
If you have a machine that prints money, you use it.
You use it. Another franchise that Zaslav has over at Warner Brothers that is one of the big, like if you look at box office numbers, if you look at fandom, one of their biggest franchises that has, at least from Warner Brothers' perspective, because another studio recently did something with the property, but not the films, and this is something that Warner Brothers still owns the film rights to, is The Lord of the Rings. Well, it looks like we sit on that no longer because there are more Lord of the Rings films on the way. Now, we have very little details. We don't know when these films are going to be set. We don't know what they focus on. We don't know who the main characters are. We know nothing aside from the fact that one of the people who David Zaslav in this whole, okay, let's keep, where can we take this and what are we going to do next kind of pursuit that he was on, one of the people who he had a meeting with was a gentleman named Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't, listen, either way, whether you're planning on trying to convince Peter Jackson to come back and do this again or not.
Pitch.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's each time that Peter Jackson has done it, it's like years of his life. Like he didn't want to do The Hobbit. He was kind of pigeonholed into doing The Hobbit after Guillermo del Toro was like, F this and left. It's whether or not Peter Jackson is coming back to do more, he's still the first person, like he knows this world from a filmmaking standpoint. He knows this world better than anybody else does.
He knows how to make it so that it works and everyone will enjoy it.
Yeah. And
even
so
if it's crap, like
people
The Hobbit. Think The Hobbit is like, it's still an enjoyable watch. It's
still enjoyable. And so he is, either way, he's the first person you talk to. He's the person you consult with. So I don't know. I don't know what's coming. I have a short list I have a short wish list, things that I think would be fascinating to see, things that I'd be on board to see. I hope to high heavens, as much as I believe that you might have to really, really, really back up the money truck in order to get Peter Jackson on board. I hope they back that money truck up. Because if anyone can do this and do it with, part of the reason why the Hobbit films are not what the Lord of the Rings is because they had, instead of 3 years to develop these and get them going, Peter Jackson had like 3 months. And they were like, quite often they were like writing the script while they were shooting it. Like they were rewriting scenes the day of because they just didn't have the production time, right? All of a sudden, they hadn't done any Peter Jackson development for it. All of Guillermo del Toro's development was done, but it was a much different looking thing. It wasn't the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings. And so all of a sudden, everything changed except for the release dates. And so they had to just go. It was just like run and gun kind of filming. So hopefully with a well thought out, well prepared film, whether it's just a film or it's a couple of films, it's a trilogy, with having seen what Amazon did with The Lord of the Rings and returning to practical orcs and returning to these more practical feeling just settings and worlds and environments. There's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of potential for something really, really, really cool. You hear this, you're not as big a Lord of the Rings fan as I am, for sure. But I think you enjoy them. You for the most part, you enjoyed the Amazon Rings of Power series. Does this excite you? And is Peter Jackson the man to do it?
I would say yes and yes. Good night.
Okay, good talk. Yeah.
This is, whether Jackson does it or not, it's definitely the right move because it's definitely a misstep that Amazon had by not trying to get Peter Jackson on board as at least a consultant. You know what I mean? So having conversations with him and saying, hey, we want to do this. How can we get you on board as directing or consulting or, like helping us with the script or, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's obviously the guy you bring in to make it work. If you
know what though, I'm glad they didn't get him though, because had they and had Peter Jackson done it, I think that would really hurt the chances of him potentially doing these new films for Warner Brothers. Because all of a sudden now you're like, because these are competitors, right? Even though they're both Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but I think it depends on the role you bring him in on. Like if he's just there as a consultant, then I don't think that hurts his chances of doing other films, Lord of the Rings films for anyone else.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like if I'm a CEO of Warner Brothers and I hear, oh, Peter Jackson is consulting on the Amazon Lord of the Rings, and let's say Fairy Tale World, he does that, and it turns out even better than it did without any fan backlash at all because he knows the property so even better. So it turns out even better, right? That only makes me look at Peter Jackson and go, well, if I'm doing Lord of the Rings, there's no way in heck I'm not bringing him on board because the original, he made the original trilogy gold. He saved the Hobbit trilogy, and he obviously made this TV show phenomenal, helped make this TV show phenomenal. I would be a fool not to ask him to help out.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It only adds to his credentials.
Yeah.
Around this property specifically.
God, I hope they get him.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Yeah.
I'm just, so excited. I haven't told Pete yet. There's more Lord of the Rings movies coming.
Well, I guess he'll find out when he listens to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't see him before that or talk to him.
Yeah. Well, that's the news. That's all the news. That's it.
That's it.
Get
That's all.
the boodle. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for just every time. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Now, check out our all of our links down below. Our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have a merch store. Got some sweet merch.
Get the swag.
Some swag. We've also got a Patreon page, and Patreon is a way for you not only to support us for as little as $1 a month, helps keep the show running, but also gives you access to all kinds of goodies. Not only some exclusive content, but also the ability to have your votes count as bigger votes when voting for what film Pete and I are going to watch and review next. So stay tuned and check that out. I don't know why I said stay tuned, but definitely check that out. Stay tuned. Now, actually, I meant to say stay tuned there. We got lots of cool stuff coming up. Like I said, next week we've got our first episode of Mandalorian is going to be dropping. Woot woot. Next week we also have our review. Actually, well, I don't know. It might be later this week. But right around the corner, we've got our review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I'm literally heading out very shortly after this to go see it.
Still haven't seen it.
Now, what things have been? I was sick, and then
lazy.
I saw Titanic a second time, so it was it's just priorities. But yeah, so lots of good things coming. And then Pete and I over on the A team side of things, we've got more Scream reviews coming up because Scream 6 is right around the corner, and so we're going to kind of fast track it, knock out a couple of Scream reviews in a row there, and then go see Scream 6 and drop a review for that. So lots of crazy stuff on the way. Lots of fun. Send us off, Carl.
Well, I guess until you hear us in the next movie news, talking about more Marvel and DC. That's what we'll talk about. More Marvel
and Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and Harry Potter.
Yeah, those are the only topics we ever talk about. So
yeah, we just couldn't name the show that for like copyright reasons.
Yeah, that's what this news show is all about. You heard it here.
It's not. There's other things from. Yeah, you're right.
That's it. That's all.